All right, so in the previous lesson, we saw how to add details to the cake. So in this one, we're going to add details to the icing. Okay, so what we'll do is, if you look at a photograph of the icing, you'll see like it's mostly just noise, but it also has like holes in it, which I guess is like because of air. So we'll try and do both those things. The idea of doing it here and not as a displacement map at shader level is because I wanted to sort of, sell the models later on. I wanted everything to be baked in. Okay, so it's easier to do it here and then just bake a high res data to low res data rather than trying to bake a shader. Okay, so this is much more simpler in that sense. So let's start with a volume noise again. So we'll take a volume warp. So there's nothing called as a volume noise. I keep calling it volume noise, but it's basically a volume warp and you're adding noise through that. Okay, so let's just call it icing noise. And again, just make sure that your VDB is named to density. I'm keeping the voxel size to 0.003 because this is fairly, like the geometry is pretty small. The smaller the geometry is, the lower you can get your voxel size because it needs more voxels to fill up the detail. So I'm keeping it to 0.003. And so we need two things. We firstly need like the larger noise to just distort the whole thing to give it a grainy result. And then we need like the smaller holes on it. Okay, so let's first build up the larger noise. So I'm going to take a turbulent noise again and just keep it to position. It's not complicated. We'll just keep it to alligator noise. And I'll get the frequency up to about 4 or 5. And let's start by lowering the amplitude because usually it ends up being very high anyway. So we'll keep it to 0.05 and I will up the roughness a little bit. And then just let's take an add and let's plug this in. So you'll end up getting this. Okay, now this is a bit too much. So firstly, let's just lower the amplitude a little bit more. So 0.02. Yeah, I think this is okay. Let's also do one thing. Let's take a fit range. There's also a fit range unclamped, but I don't want to use that. Like the result will be different. So what we'll do is I just want to take the minimum a little bit high. So I can, okay, that's a little too much. Okay, so let's go to 0.002. Yeah, and then just lower the source max to about 0.1. So it will give you like patches. That's roughly what I want. Okay. Yeah, and then just lower the destination max. So you can just control the noise a little bit. Yeah, I think this is okay. Yeah, I think this is fine. There you go. See, so you get like a nice noisy little result. Now the second thing is to make the holes. Okay. This is a little tricky. So just take a unified noise static. And then we're going to take the position in here to position. So what you want to do is you want to work with cellular noise again, but not the cracks type, the circular one. Okay, so take the noise type to Worley cellular F1. And let's just test this, right? So we'll just take this and put this into our add. So I'll just take this guy and put it into add. And by default, it will disappear. So just take the final amplitude to around 0.01. Let's try 0.2. See, so you get that. And then let's also do a complement. So it sort of, like comes upwards. And then what we want to do is we want to take the frequency really high. So let's take the frequency to about 30 each. So you'll get something like this. See, so there you go. Okay, so you're getting like a nice cellular pattern. Now the next thing is I want to also give it a little bit of noise. So just take the fractal type to standard FBM. And what you want to do is take the lacunarity to around 0.5. Yeah, so you get like a little bit like this. See, so this can be the base for our holes, but we need more gap, between the cells. So we can do that using a fit range. Okay, so just take a fit range. And this has to be like very carefully planned. So I basically wrote down these values because I have to be like really careful about this. So what you can do is take the source minimum to around 0.02 and then get the source maximum to around 0.08. And let's lower the destination max to around 0.4. Okay, let's try to modify this a little. So let's go to 0.01. Yeah, okay, there we go. So we have something. The values are very, like, you have to be really careful about it. Okay, so let's try 0.018. Yeah, there you go. See. So at 0.02 it disappears. Yeah, so you have to be like 0.018 or 19. So you have to be that's why I wrote down the values, because you have to be like very careful about them. So yeah, 0.018 seems to be okay. And then we can add these two together. So let's take an add. And I can add this and that. And then we can readjust the holes a little bit more if you don't see them enough, so I can like just lower this a little more. Yeah, there you go. And also maybe just let's take this and lower the noise. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think this is nice. See, so there you go. So you have something similar to this. And so if we convert this to VDB, you should get a relatively interesting result. Yeah, see. If you want, you can take take this higher. We can make it like say 40. If you want like smaller holes. And maybe I can take, this guy to 0.19 if you want lesser holes. Okay, yeah, this is very tricky. Yeah, there you go. See, so that's better. You could probably use this to do like holes in concrete and stuff like that as well, So there are more applications to this than just doing icing. But there you go. So this is the icing that we have. Let's try to do one final thing. I'm going to lower this to 0.002 just to get a little more detail. Yeah, there you go. See, so that looks nice. Now, you are getting like these floating areas, and I will explain later how to get rid of them. Okay, like if you don't want this, one of the ways to do it is you can just take the voxel radius and increase it. Like I can come into the VDB smooth and we can just try to sort of, lower the voxel radius. No, sorry, increase the voxel radius. See, so that will also and lower the iterations. No, increase it. Yeah, so just like smoothen it out really, like the lower you, the more you increase the resolution, the more you need to smoothen it out. Okay. See, so this is better, so now if we check it, we should have a better result. Yeah, so that's basically it. So this is how we can add noise to our icing. Okay, so with the next lesson, we'll start with the animation.